Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Danny Danae Show. I am Danielle Danae, aka Danny Danae, and I got a lot to say. So let's get into it. Should prostitution be legal? Let's talk about it. So, this is a question that came to me as I was watching a documentary on this woman named Heidi Fleece. Heidi Fleece? Heidi Fleiss. I might be saying her name wrong. Pardon me if I am. Um, this is a documentary on this woman called Call Me: The Rise and Fall of Heidi Fleiss. And this woman was quote unquote called the Hollywood Madam. If anybody was born in the 60s and, was around 20 something around this time in the early 80s, they know who this woman was. She was someone that, and this documentary told her whole story. Basically, I'm going to go through it just a little bit right now. So she's born and raised in Los Angeles, in the Los Felix area, to be specific. And she went to college, dropped out, and at 22, she met a film director named Ivan Nagy. Again, I might be saying these people's names wrong, but don't hound me. I'm trying. So Yvonne, she started dating Yvonne at 22 years old. Yvonne was significantly older than her, right? And then Yvonne introduced Heidi to a woman named Alex, which was her. She was actually the original madam of Hollywood. And if you don't know what a madam is, a madam is someone who, gets a bunch of pretty girls, to sleep with, a bunch of wealthy, rich, typically older men, right? They're the leaders of a prostitution ring, right? So again, Heidi met Alex, and then Alex got into a little bit of legal trouble, and Alex asked Heidi to run her business for a little while for her while she was locked up. And Heidi actually ended up taking over her business while she was away. And when she got out, just completely sabotaged her, took all her girls, brought in younger girls, And it said in her Wikipedia that, she intended to, looked like she intended to take over the business all along. She just, had to get into it a little bit, become a prostitute herself to learn the business and stuff, and, to learn all the tricks and stuff from Alex directly for her to be able to run it long term. It's so funny. My ex is in his 50s, so he remembers this woman very well. And he didn't know she was a prostitute herself. He just thought she was a madam the whole time. I'm like, no, she was a prostitute initially too. She just, when she became a madam, she stopped prostituting and just made her money off of other women prostituting. So yeah. Like I said, she ran the business. She eventually ditched her boyfriend Alex. And it was saying like she was making all this money. She made $1 million in the first 4 months of running this business. $1 million in a 20-something-year-old, right? And she really thrived when she was 27. So she'd been in the business for a little while, making a whole bunch of money. But then, she was so, and then they said she was so successful that she was turning women down. Like women were begging left and right to become a part of her ring, because she was not only was she making a lot of money, obviously her girls were making a lot of money, so she was turning girls down. She had too many people trying to be a part of it, so that's how big it was. But then she got convicted of she got arrested for pandering in 1993, was convicted, but then later was convicted of a tax evasion in 1996, and then she was sentenced to 7 years in prison, which she served 20 months for in a correctional institution, and then later was released to a halfway house. And then she was also ordered to perform 370 hours of community service. And then got out and just continued living her best life. Brother looked up, she said she got married I think she moved to a smaller state, smaller city. And yeah, I don't know if she had kids or not, but yeah, but she just moved on with her life. But I thought it was also interesting in the documentary, when she was arrested, there was an offer that came to her, and this part of the story, I'm just telling you, um, this is what it was told in the documentary. But when I actually looked this information up, this wasn't a proven fact, so they might have just thrown this in there. But regardless, I thought it was an interesting thing to talk about. So when she was locked up, she got an offer of $3 million. Someone offered her $3 million to reveal all the names of the people involved in her clientele, these high end male clientele she was providing these girls for. And initially, she was gonna take the deal. She was like, $3 million, that's a lot of money, right? But then one of her high clientele friends took her out of this rehab and was I had to sit down a heart to heart with her, and he was like, "Yo, if you release this list, you don't want these type of problems. You think jail is bad." Said it in the in the nice ways, in the nicest way possible, no hardcore threats, but made her realize that, it could be way worse for you if you release all these names, right? And he's like, you think people are losing, are, you lost people now because when she got locked up, it was clear she was upset that no one had her back. No one was bailing her out. He's like, no, if you do this, if you release all our names, it's going to be, people are going to be out to get you. This is wealth men have acquired their whole lifetimes trying to get, and built families and legacies, and they were not going to allow that to be torn down by what he referred to Heidi as, a little girl who was a drug addict. And again, that's something that was in the movie prevalently too. She did cocaine a lot. Um, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then she eventually, decided not to. She had this book in the film that she kept in her house, and she hid it when they came and arrested her. And she asked a friend outside. She was like, "Burn it." When he came to her, he sparked fear in her, and she was like, "Okay," or sparks fear or sense, whatever you want to call it. And then she burned the book, and yeah, and then got out in 7 years, and even though she was a little older, she still had her friends, she still had the connections, so she still lived a decent life. She still was able to live, let alone. It's so funny because, you hear stories like Jeffrey Epstein, and then you hear stories about, and you're watching Diddy's story in real time, it's just like, you don't want to mess with powerful people like that because they will kill you. They will kill you and not regret it. So, yeah, I think she went the smart way out. But again, obviously, people like me, a lot of people out there are like me and want to know who those names were, because just the drama and finding out is just exciting. But she did the right move, I believe, to protect herself and protect her legacy. But anyways, okay, so that's all about Heidi Fleiss, right? But my question is, when she was arrested for prostitution, that didn't stick. It was more, she got arrested for the tax evasion, right? And it's interesting that, you know, prostitution is illegal, but it's like it's the oldest profession for women in the book. Women have been doing this since the beginning of time, making money this way. And not to condone it, because obviously I don't. I think it's horribly wrong to be a prostitute. But hey, again, I also know, times are tough out here, man, especially now. Women are struggling to make ends meet. And there was a scene in this movie where, Heidi was asking a woman that was, when she just got into the business and just met this woman, the Madam Alex, she asked one of her girls, like, how did you get into this? And the woman was like, I came to Los Angeles. I wanted to be an actress. I went on all these auditions, didn't land anything, struggling to make money. And, becoming a prostitute, it was just way better than waitressing. And it's like, yo, I get it. It's tough times out here. But it's like, but at the same time, if women just, found a decent man, found a great man, and got on their program and, allowed them to provide and just submitted to him fully, they wouldn't have to go through these extremes, you know, at the same time. So, but again, like I said, I understand both are tough to do, especially, you would think it shouldn't be so tough to want to submit to a man and, have him provide for you and take care of you while all you do is take care of the house with, again, all these appliances and all these, services we now have that make it way easier to do so. But again, women like to be dominant. They want to be empowered. They want to be independent. They want to be able to get away with doing a lot of things that they know aren't okay with doing. But with that comes comes other hardships. It's like you got to pick your heart, and it seems like a lot of women today are wanting to are picking the hard that is, um, to me, more degrading. Um, a harder version because I feel like it lasts long term. Like when you become a prostitute, you sleep with that many women for sex. And even if when you get out of it, it messes with your psychological, it messes with your mental, you know, ability to cope with things. It makes you very susceptible to, BS and going back to it. So yeah, but should it be illegal though? I don't think so. And even in the movie, I thought it was crazy at first when I heard, because her dad, it's so crazy. Heidi's dad, I don't know if this is 100% true. Again, this was added in the movie. It might not be true, but in the movie, her dad was very aware of her business. He even bought her a house under his name so it wouldn't track back to her. Um, yeah, because she was making so much money, and the IRS, um, if they couldn't understand where you're getting the money from, they were gonna come for you, which basically they did. But she, him buying the house made that process delay a little bit longer. And he straight up said, her father said that he thinks prostitution should be legal. And I was like, why would you think something like that should be legal? And when I sat back and thought about it, I was just like, you can't. I kind of get it, because who are you to police and tell a man, who he wants to have sex with and how he gets the sex? I mean, again, prostitution is something that's very hard to prove, just like almost racism, because it's just like, the exchange between money and sex with women and men have been happening for years. And, in a way, marriage is that, a lot of women today agree to sleep with the man as much as he wants, have kids with the man, as long as he's providing for her, for the house, for clothes, for food, and all that stuff. So obviously, it's not just a back and forth. And I mean, it's not as direct as I give you cash, you sleep with me. But in a way, it's kind of like it could be seen as that if you dress it up nice and play the roles well. So yeah, I sat back and I was like, huh, I kind of agree. Like, who are we to tell a woman, you know, that she can't, put some money on her box, even if I disagree with it completely. I mean, it is what it is, and it's happening nonstop anyway. So it's just like, and I could sit back and be like, just because something happening, um, just because something is happening a lot doesn't mean it should be legal. Again, I kind of agree, but at the same time, these are both adults engaging in it. Like, it's one thing that's to sleep with underage women and sex traffic and do all those other stuff, but to two adults sleeping one another and exchanging goods and services, quote unquote, to speak, I can't knock it as hard as other things that I feel like are happening and should definitely remain illegal. But yeah, that's my point of view. I think that it's unfortunate that a lot of young women, and I think it's so crazy that she was only 22 getting into this and ran this business at from 22 to 27 is insane. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like if I was to go and meet her today, she's in her 50s today. If I was to go and ask her, "Do you regret any of your decisions?" I think she would be like, "No." Because it's so crazy. In the movie, she was like, I get to travel the world. I get to meet people I never got to meet. I got to eat what I want, dress the way I want." And yeah, she made millions, seems like. So, I mean, the money is worth it to a lot of women. And, you know, it is what it is. Again, I don't condone this lifestyle. I think, it's very degrading toward women. Absolutely. But at the same time, it's happening. And with Diddy, and I think it's very respectable that she did release the names again. And I think that, once she decided, I thought it was interesting that once she, became the madam herself, she could have still remained prostituting, but she was like, no, I'm going to get to this money. I'm very focused. She's very business minds. She had a very strong business mindset, very business savvy. And I got to give kudos to her for that. But it's just like, but I also think, her being so business savvy, she could have been business savvy in other professions. But, sex is one of the biggest professions in the world. Again, it's all about power, and the people with the most of it are willing to pay for it. So yeah, I am playing devil's advocate here. I want to know what you guys think. Should prostitution be legal or should it not be? Should it be legal or should it not be? And tell me why, because I really wouldn't be mad if it was, again, because I feel like it would be like it is today, you know? And yeah, I don't think it would change anything, for one. And I also thought, a lot of women that are in the prostitution business think that, and this was also made clear in this documentary, that men are paying for the sex directly. These higher profile men, are paying for sex, and it's like, no. You think these men have you think these men have problems getting sex? You think men like Diddy have problems getting sex for anybody they want to? It's what they're paying for is for the women to leave. Peace is something so valued. I can't say it enough on my channel. Peace of mind is something men value so much, especially at today's time with all the rah-rah of social media now. They will pay the biggest amount of money in order to keep that peace. Like, you think it's crazy for a lot of people think it's crazy that a man will pay a prostitute $5,000 to sleep with them. It's like, oh, again, peace. There's almost no price tag on it. A lot of women, would sleep with these higher ups and these millionaires and billionaires, but they want a relationship. They're naggy. They don't want to leave. They're a headache. The thing about these prostitutes is there's a understanding, an underlying understanding that this is an even exchange. Don't ask for more if I don't offer more. It is what it is, right? There's no situationships that come along with this. There's no confusion. It's a contract. It's an unwritten contract. And, the way the world is today is like, I get it. Women are headaches. They are. And, again, and the ones that claim they want a man and will do what they need to keep one, don't do what they need to do to keep one. So men resort to these prostitutes, these madams, in order to get the peace that they crave so desperately with a wife. But again, men value legacy. Men value, their children. So they'll get married, but they'll step out and do things like this and hire a madam to hire prostitutes because they need that balance. They'll die without having peace in some aspect, where they're not being emotionally drained and ridiculed and hounded for just being, for just being a man. Now, I'm not excusing, you know, men who are dogs who, intentionally go out and um, cheat on their wives and, are grotesque and do grotesque things to women. Those are not the type of men I'm talking about. Most of these men weren't grotesque. They just wanted to have a good time, you know? And until you can understand how men's minds operate and understand men's needs, you're going to be combative about the subject. You're going to be emotionally driven. You're going to react like and say like, how can Danielle say that? But again, I understand men's perspective and I understand what men have to go through in this world. And if it's the stress relief to a man to, pay for sex or pay for peace, pardon me, not pay for sex, pay for peace, you gotta, not hound the man so much. So, but ask the question, why did he have to feel like he had to go elsewhere to get this peace? What am I not doing at home, or what is his women not doing at home to make him resort to that? Right. Again, I'm not talking about the dogs that unnecessarily do this. I have a good woman at home, but for the most part, a lot of these men don't. Their women nag, they're lazy, they gain a whole bunch of weight. All these things are factors. Numbers prove it, and you see it in our everyday lives. You can deny it, but it's facts. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's, if prostitution became legal, I don't think I would have any pushback because I see how the women have become today. And again, this is the oldest profession in the book. I mean, it is what it is. You pick and choose your battles. You want to be a prostitute? Cool. Deal with everything that comes with being a prostitute, though. Don't pick and choose. Don't be all happy when the benefits come and then complain when you picked up an STD or when you're, now have to go to jail, because you didn't file your taxes. You committed some type of other fraud, you know? It is what it is. And you can say, and people watching this can say, oh, well, when the men know what they're getting into too, why shouldn't she have snitched on them? I, I think, I think men should take accountability when they do stuff, do, like crimes, like don't pay their taxes and stuff. But most part, these men made their money, in a decent manner. All that they were doing that was illegal was the prostitution part. And again, it's just something that's been happening for so long, and I don't think it should be illegal, and that too many people are doing. So it's just like, ugh. Again, um, it's certain aspects. It's particular things that I feel like when you're scamming individuals, you should definitely go to jail. But if you're paying a prostitute for sex, again, it's happening oh so often. It's being put in our, and this is something that has been being put in our faces and glorified in our media spaces. Um, and again, this is prostitution is also something of the government, these elitists, the CIA, FBI are also doing again. So to hound people so hard for doing something that, these elitists and the people who run our country are doing, I just don't think that's fair, if that makes any sense. So again, she definitely should have gone to jail for tax evasion. She definitely should have gone to jail for, being a drug addict. But for prostitution, mm, I don't think so. Again, and she was convicted and didn't go to jail for it. She was arrested for pandering, but wasn't convicted. Yeah, so because again, I think people know like it shouldn't be illegal because they know like it's something that should be up to an individual. But people are so sensitive about that topic. It's still somewhat still frowned upon. But at the point we're at a point in life, right? We're at a point in this world. It's just like people are gonna do what they're gonna do, man. If you want to have sex and pay for it, why not? We live in a world where you pay for goods and services, and this is just another type of good and service, good and service, you know. So yeah, that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Should prostitution be legal? Should it? But it should it not be? Yeah, I have no pushback on it. I thought I would, and again, initially, like I said, it seemed crazy for her father, to even say it should be legal. But again, we live in tough times, man. If women want to choose to be a prostitute, by all means, they're doing it anyway. A lot of them are doing it for free. Why not get paid for it? Tough world. Again, not my lifestyle. You won't see me doing this, but for the ones that it is for, who am I to step in and be like, hey, you shouldn't do that? It is what it is. All right, guys. That's all I got to say about this topic. Please like this video if you like it. Please comment always. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I really, really want to know if you guys think it should be legal or not. I need other perspectives on this, because not a lot of people talk about this. So I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I love, love, love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.